So as I say, I'm David. I'm Head of Customer Management here for our digital products at CEC. Today I'm just trying to lead this presentation with Charlie from Unifrog. Charlie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Charlie from Unifrog. I am the education lead for Unifrog and also the area manager for partner schools in the southeast of England and central London. So special hello to any of you who are careers leaders at any of my partner schools. Really looking forward to the webinar today.
Thanks, Charlie. We're also joined in our Q&A session later on by Louise from Cromwell Community College. Louise uses both Unifrog and Compass Plus. Louise, I'm not sure if you're on the call yet. If you are, actually probably won't, I don't know if you can hear us, if you want to say hello, if you are on the call just yet.
Yeah, I'm on the call. Hi, David. Yeah, so I'm in a Penland school in Cambridgeshire. I've obviously been Unifrog for a couple of years now. I'm one of the teacher champions as well for Unifrog, so I do like to kind of get involved, and I do like both systems as well. So hopefully I can help with any questions.
Great, thanks, Louise. So you'll all get the chance to grill Charlie, myself, and ask any real world questions of Louise later as well. So hopefully that will give you all the right perspectives on things. And then we're supported with the webinar to help deliver this for you this afternoon by Struan from CEC. Struan, I think you're there. Do you want to say hi?
Hello everybody, hi, I'm Struan. I work with David at CEC, primarily on developing training supporting Compass Plus and also other supporting resources.
Thanks, Struan. And Sarah's in the background from our events team who's running the logistics of this. You want to say hi there, Sarah, if you still can
Hi
hear
everyone,
us?
Thanks for joining. I'm Sarah, I work in the events team at CEC and I'll be supporting with the virtual event today.
Thanks, Sarah. And Sarah's also managing some of the post-event comms as well. For you, you'll get some materials coming out afterwards. Last but not least, Mitch, who's joining us from Unifrog. Mitch, do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone, I'm Mitch. I'm the area manager, so similar to what Charlie does, but I focus on the southwest, hence the very thick Bristolian accent. So good to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. And it's just worth saying that Mitch and Struan will potentially be able to answer a few questions in chat as we go through this, if you do post things as we go. But equally at the end, Struan will help us just coordinate some of your questions, and we'll do our best to answer those later on. So let's dive into this, if we may. If we can proceed to the next slide, Sarah, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, so for today, what we're trying to do is to make sure we've got some clear learning outcomes that hopefully you can leave the session feeling you know a little bit more about how we use Unifrog and Compass Plus together. We'll talk to you a bit more about that in a moment. We will want to just take a moment or two to ask a few quick questions of you as well. We're going to poll some questions just to try and get your take really on how you use some of the core functionality across both products. Just 3 really simple yes/no questions, but they'll help Charlie and I particularly to sort of help position how we refer to either more or less depth in some things, if we can just explain things in a way that fits the level of your usage and understanding of some of the product functions. We'll then take time to go through the recommended way to use both products together. And we're going to be talking about what we're sort of referring to as a model way to use both Compass Plus and Unifrog. It's a sort of most holistic way to use both products. We'll get into the detail in a little later on, but equally there'll be ways that you'll use them in slightly differently, and all of those things are fine, of course. We're just trying to give you the sort of best way to get the optimum out of both products today in that sense, and you can take what you feel is the most relevant out of that as we proceed. Section 4 then we'll whiz through how to download and upload the data from Unifrog into Compass Plus. We've got a short film to play you there, which also includes a little piece at the front of it around how to create activities in Unifrog, so that you can get those careers interactions logged, and then how you basically download it and upload it into Compass Plus. We've got a few points to touch on about where to find more support. So following today, how you can get further help if you need it, and then time for you to ask any questions around the joint use of the products together from Charlie, Louise and myself. Should we go to the next slide, please, Sarah? Thanks. So let's skip to the next one as well while we're at it. So learning outcomes wise, oops, sorry, let's go back one. Go to our learning outcomes. We are today really, as I say, trying to get to a point where you've got real clear understanding around how to use the key functions of Compass Plus and Unifrog so that you can get what you need out of both products. We'll take you through the breadth of using both products really simply in that sense, and how you'll be able to draw from that the right steps that suit you, the way you work, the way you plan, the way you deliver, and you can use as much or as little of the way we're recommending as works for you, but to get the most from both products, it's ideal to move towards this sort of model role as such. And then, as I say, we'll give you some pointers on where to find help, both from Unifrog and from ourselves for Compass Plus, both in terms of self-support material, colleagues who can help you both in Unifrog and ourselves, and so forth. And of course, not least, we know that there's got a few of you on this call, there's a lot of users now, a lot of you using both products across the country. I'm sure quite a few of you will know in local networks, other schools who use both products as well. So we never underestimate the value of trying to connect you to other like-minded users. So where we can, we'll try and support with that, both from Unifrog and from us as well. So we're now going to get into sort of the model way of how to use both products together. And we started off really with a very simple principle here, which is we've got two products that have quite broad-ranging functionality. There's some overlap between the products as well in some places, and there's some strengths in different products, the two different products as well in each area. So what we're suggesting here is that you'd use Compass Plus strategically to direct your provision and review your performance. That you do that, we'll come on to in a moment, but you'll do that at key points in the year. You'll be able to see where you intend to go and how you're getting there then. And then very much use Unifrog tactically to run through your activities as such as we would sort of refer to them in Compass Plus, and careers interactions in Unifrog as such. So you can use both products together in quite a synchronous way to give you that really detailed view. So we can perhaps just move to the next slide, please. And thinking about how we do that in operational terms, then the overview really is trying to keep this really simple. Is to have 3 steps to this, as I say, planning ahead. Now that can be either at the beginning of the year or at the end of an academic year, looking ahead to the whole of the next academic year. Equally, if you're partway through a year and you've upgraded to one of either Unifrog or Compass Plus, or at any time you plan to sort of review what you're going to do and sort of take a slightly fresher look at things, you can plan ahead from any point, quite frankly. But we're today going to be just talking about as if you were planning for the year ahead to keep it simple. But you can take that on from any point, basically. We're then talking about how you manage your activities or your careers interactions across the year in Unifrog, and Charlie will take us through how you can do that. Those of you who use the product recently will clearly know a fair bit about that, but others may want a bit more familiarity with it. And then the third step is a sort of cycle through checking progress every half term in Compass Plus, and we'll show you a way to basically get the data out of Unifrog into Compass Plus and then sense check. Are you still heading in the direction you want to be? Are things on track? And then if they're not, you can of course adjust your course and change direction if you want to as such. Next slide, please. Great. So if we start with step 1 then, planning ahead. Clearly, those of you who've been to a CEC sort of education team webinar or meeting, or any of our digital ones, you'll know that we always recommend you start by looking at your Compass evaluation. So obviously you can take a Compass evaluation in Compass Plus, your previous ones are imported if you've upgraded to it, and you can basically get in your evaluation result. You can pick out the detail of areas where the sub-benchmarks you still need to make progress potentially, those where you want to reinforce or strengthen any progression. And using that, obviously steered with your school's vision and multi-year plan, you can take a view on what you want to prioritise across the year. So are there specific benchmarks, specific cohorts of young people, specific sort of steps you're trying to make progress against? So using that Compass evaluation results to sort of guide the planning process to start with is the place we recommend everybody starts. Since the beginning of September, so appreciate not a lot of people will have done this just yet necessarily, but from the beginning of September, Future Skills Questionnaire went live, and you can now utilise those surveys and the data from those surveys. If you actually survey some of your young people in their transition years, you can get their views around how they perceive the programmes supporting them and how what sort of work readiness they may have as well. So you can use some of that potentially if it's appropriate to steer where you want to go, the areas you want to focus on, perhaps parts of your programme you want to adjust as well. Next slide, please. So you might also want to, if you've had a Compass Plus for more than a year, you may well want to copy your plan across from last year, which you can do. So you can see there in the snippet on the left, you can copy across in one click and take your whole plan across to the next year, so that you can build on what you feel works well, and actually perhaps take out things you may not want to repeat, and obviously add to that. And perhaps from a perspective of adding to that, Charlie, did you want to just talk a little bit about blended learning year plans? Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks, David. So if it's the start of the academic year, that's a great opportunity for you guys to take a look at some of the year plans, which are in the Unifrog resources library. If you're not familiar about how to find the resources library, if you log into your teacher account and scroll down slightly on the home page, you will see a button which says resources library on it. And when you click on that button, it will take you through to a page which looks exactly like what you can see on the slide there. So there's hundreds of ready-made teaching resources for all kinds of careers topics in there, but the blended learning year plans are especially helpful because they set out for you for each year group from year 7 upwards a sort of ideal delivery of Unifrog content for each year group. There are different versions for each session. So what I mean by that is that for those of you who work in schools where students don't always have access to IT, there is always an offline version to accommodate for that. So you'll find those year plans and those resources on your teacher account on Unifrog. And when you're thinking about the year ahead or perhaps even the term ahead, well worth considering if there's anything you felt like was missing from your provision last term or last year, and then pulling out related resources which will help you to fill that gap. And if you've ever got any sort of questions about which are the best resources for certain topics, or just want some general help with navigating the resources library, please do just reach out, and we're more than happy to talk you through it.
Great, thank you, Charlie. So armed with those resources as well, perhaps anything you've done from the previous year that you've copied across from last year's sort of plan of activity in Compass Plus, and any other things you're thinking of putting into this year's programme for your school, you effectively build up your plan in Compass Plus. And potentially you might say, okay, we're focusing on a specific benchmark or a specific sub-benchmark area, and or obviously a range of young people you're trying to support in that benchmark area. On the left here, we've just sort of highlighted a few activities that actually all relate to benchmark 3, and then on the right, the snippet on the right you'll see is actually taken from the Your Evaluation Results sort of data visualization on the on the top of the dashboard in Compass Plus. So when you've built your plan through, you've got your activities in, you've added things from the Unifrog sort of blended year plans, and you've got anything you've done before or anything else you want to add, clearly you'll be able to see, okay, I've got a range of activities. I think I've got a plan that may work. I think I've got a plan I want to use. You can go to your evaluation results data visualization. You can click on the planned activities drop down which is at the top of this diagram on the right. And it will show you, Compass Plus will show you where your projected year-end outcome will be based on all those activities you've put together, the way you've constructed your plan, all the pupils you've included and used put into the plan for all the activities you're looking at delivering. Now, of course, it may be that you'll look at that and you go, I'm still not quite as far forward as I want to be. May still need to look at adding more activities. You may want to go back to some of the blended learning year plans, put my teeth in, and pull out more activities to support that out of Unifrog, and so that you can actually build quite a comprehensive plan to get you to where whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to achieve against any benchmark or any priority that you set yourselves. If we perhaps just go to the next slide, please. And once you've sort of got to that point, you, as I say, you might go back, you might reiterate a little, one or two times, you might add some activities, take them out, see the impact that it has. By using the your evaluation results data visualization, you'll get a plan that you know is likely, if you can deliver everything, is likely to get you to the outcome you want to have at the end of the academic year. Now, of course, it's quite pertinent, rather unfortunately perhaps, to say that with COVID numbers are rising again at the moment. We know a lot of you are having activities you're having to cancel and so forth, and we can take account of that as we go through the year as well. But if we start out the year or we start out the period that you're planning with the programme in place, and then you refer back to this plan effectively as you go through the year, we're just going to hand over to Charlie in a moment. You'll actually, you put your activities in, deliver your activities in Unifrog, you'll be able to then, on the third step, sort of marry back what you've done and where it takes you. So let's let Charlie take you through what you do in Unifrog when you've got your plan in place.
Thanks, David. So once you've got your plan already sort of mapped out, in terms of moving through that, that's when the kind of big chunk of Unifrog usage comes into it. So the first element of that is logging careers interactions on Unifrog. We have PowerPoints, short videos, which show how to do this, logging careers interactions for various different groups or for individual students. So if you're not familiar with how to log those on Unifrog, please do just get in touch with us and we can send you resources to help you. And you can also ring our partner success team and they'll talk you through it over the phone. But that's the first step. So when you log those careers interactions on Unifrog as you move through your careers programme, those are going to be logged on both the student side and the staff side. So when an interaction, which is basically what Compass Plus call activities, when that is logged on Unifrog, that is shared with both teachers and also the student or the students involved with that interaction. You can log them in bulk, so you shouldn't be logging the same thing 50 times over if the same interaction occurred with 50 students. So please do, as I say, just make sure that you're logging them in the most efficient way possible. So as you're delivering your provision, logging those careers interactions as you go. Anybody can log those interactions as well. So some of our partner schools choose to split the responsibility of logging these interactions with different members of staff, which you might find helps with your workload. So, for example, if you use form tutors to deliver the bulk of your PSHE programme, it might be that you ask them to log them. Alternatively, you can, of course, just log them all yourself, totally up to you. So as you're logging these interactions on the Unifrog platform, you can track what types of interactions have been logged, either by type of interaction or linked benchmark. And there's a number of different ways that you can do that. So you can see how things are kind of stacking up as you're moving through your program. So you could see that by the advanced page, which is where you see all of your students, your main dashboard, and you can see exactly what's been logged for whom and when. And then if you would rather look at a kind of general overview of just how many or what percentage of the year group or the school have received certain types of interactions, then you can see that on the charts page. Or if you want to see an overview of what interactions have been logged for each benchmark, you can also see that on the charts page. If you're not familiar with the charts page, then again, please do just get in touch and we'd be more than happy to talk you through it. Next slide, please. Thank you. So on this slide here, you're seeing on the left-hand side what it looks like when you log interactions for students. So actually, if you log interactions ahead of time, say a week before or so, then the students will receive reminders that interaction is coming up, and they'll receive those reminders at the top of their student profiles, which is what that screenshot shows you there. So they have a sort of what's coming up feed. So they're prompted to remember the fact they've got an apprenticeship talk coming up, or that they've got a one-to-one careers interview, etc. They also receive these reminders via email as well as on their Unifrog profiles. They can see a full list of all of their past and future interactions via their profiles too, in the recording what you've done section, which is what the screenshot there on the right-hand side is showing you. So students can always reflect back on the provision they've received and what's coming up. You do also have the option to share the interactions which have been logged for a student with parents as well. Please do get in touch if you'd like to set that facility up. That can either be done by parents receiving an email, or you can actually take off sort of standalone reports in PDF format to show the interactions that have been logged for a student. When you need to transfer your interactions data that you've been logging on an ongoing basis as you deliver your careers programme, you'll need to go to the advanced page on your teacher account, which is what is shown on the left-hand screenshot there. So hopefully that should be familiar to most of you. So you would begin by choosing the year group at the top that you want to download the interactions data for, and then click the download button in the bottom right-hand corner. And then you'll see that there are a variety of options you can choose from to download interactions data. The most important one for today's webinar is the bottom one, the CSV summary for CEC Compass Plus. So it's as simple as that. That will download a CSV spreadsheet to your computer with all of the interactions data in it from Unifrog, which you will then upload into Compass Plus. And I've seen somebody's already mentioned it in the chat, if there is a kind of condensed demonstration of this happening, keep watching, because you'll be seeing one very shortly to show you what this function, the kind of functional process from start to finish of taking something off Unifrog and putting it into Compass Plus.
Great, thanks, Charlie. As we say, we've started out with that planning year in phase one, in step one. You've worked through what you want to do for the year. You started delivering activities through Unifrog there and recording those outcomes, prompting young people along the way to sort of come and attend those things and so forth. And then in step three, quite simplistically, you download your data. As Charlie says, we've got a short film to show you in a moment that'll actually take you through all of that. You download your data out of Unifrog, upload it into Compass Plus, and that enables you to make sure you've got all those careers interactions data out of Unifrog for what you've done. And we suggest you do that on a half-termly basis. So as you go through a half term, you run your activities, you delete them, you complete them, rather, you basically save them into Unifrog as you go, and then perhaps towards the end of that half term, or after a spike of activity, if it's condensed at some point in the half term, download it and upload it into Compass Plus. Next slide, please. So that will then bring you all your activity into your plan. It will basically update your plan in Compass Plus. It also then updates all your pupil profiles in Compass Plus automatically. So all the activities they've taken part in your Unifrog recorded activities, it's also posted back in Compass Plus then to their individual pupil profiles. And again, you can use basically your evaluation results, data visualization, to see, am I, with the impact of completed activities, am I actually on track towards where I want to be as the year progresses? And if you're doing this every half term, you're refreshing your data in Compass Plus every half term, you can take stock, have a quick look and see, are you on track? Do you need to do some more activity in a certain area? Have you got further perhaps than you might have thought you would get, and maybe you want to not do too much more in a certain area and actually redirect some of your resources elsewhere? You've got full flexibility, obviously, to do what you want to do there. But at least if you're doing this every half term, you're doing a download and upload every half term from Unifrog. You're checking your progress, you're checking where your year-end outcome is. You've got clear visibility then by using both systems in that way, to actually make sure that you've got no surprises as you progress through the year. And we know from a lot of dialogue with a lot of you across the last academic year, where COVID obviously had regrettably had a very big impact on everyone's activities and provision, and may yet have more impact this year. Understanding the impact of things you've not been able to deliver in the last half term, or this half term, if you've done a download and upload, at least gives you full visibility then of where any shortfalls may be, allows you to think about potentially reorganizing alternative activity or interactions you put into Unifrog to make up for any of the shortfall, or having that dialogue with SLT and head teacher around why certain progress may not be possible and so forth. But at least you've got the visibility of that if you're updating your activities in your plan in Compass Plus through the data upload and using that your evaluations results data visualization. And of course, we always ask you to look to take a Compass evaluation at the end of each term as well. So every couple of terms, you're then updating your view and taking stock and actually determining whether from your results from that evaluation, whether again you want to actually redirect any of your energies and resources to make up for any changes. Next slide, please. So that takes us really then briefly just to the summary of, as we've said, the simple three-step process really. Planning ahead in Compass Plus, whether that's for the whole year ahead, whether that's taking stock during the year and planning ahead for another period within the year, managing all your activities or your careers interactions across Unifrog, and as Charlie said, to sort of record those, and then step 3, basically checking your progress every half term, supplementing that every term with a Compass evaluation, so that you're strategically directing and reviewing your sort of provision and performance against that as we progress through the year. And as we say, in what's like to be a fairly challenging year already, with activities having to be cancelled and things because of COVID, at least it gives you a very clear view of where you are, where you're coming out at the end of the year ahead as such. So let's move forward to the video if we can. Great, thank you. And just before we hit, I think we've hit play on that. So let's don't worry, let's. The
purpose of this video is to show you how to log careers interactions on Unifrog, and then how you can download careers interactions data from Unifrog in order to bulk upload it into Compass Plus. You should log your careers interactions on Unifrog on an ongoing basis as you deliver your careers program. So to begin logging interactions, you need to be logged in as a teacher. Then from the teacher homepage, scroll down to the Manage, Sort and Experiment section. To log a careers interaction for an individual student, type the student's name in this box here. Alternatively, to log an interaction for a group of students, such as a year group or a tutor group, go to the Advanced box. From this page, you need to select the year group that you want to log an interaction for. So for example, Year 9. If you're logging an interaction for the entire of Year 9, you then would need to go to this plus interaction box here. Alternatively, if you're logging it for a tutor group in Year 9, you'll need to click Filter and then Form Name, and then select the name of the appropriate form group. So in this example, I'm going to log a careers fair which my tutor group attended. So I filtered it to show just my tutor group, and now I'm going to click plus interaction. I'll now fill out this form and it will log the careers fair as an interaction for all students in my form group. So you need to give it an appropriate title, select what type of interaction this is, and any key focuses for that interaction. You'll then need to select any relevant Gatsby benchmarks, and this is a really important part of the form as this is a key piece of data which Compass Plus takes from Unifrog. In the details box, you might want to write a short summary of the interaction and anything which the students might want to consider or think about with regard to this interaction. So for example, I've prompted students to bring a copy of their CV to this careers fair. Notes to teachers is where you might put anything which you want to make a note of that you don't want students to see. And the date and time should be when the interaction is happening or when it happened. In this case, I'm going to log this careers fair in advance. So let's say that actually this is happening in a week's time. So because I've chosen a date which is in the future, this option here is cropped up where I can remind students about the event the day before via email, which is always going to be helpful. So I'm going to tick that option. You can also attach things to the interaction. So you can attach things from Unifrog or from your own device. So because I've asked students to bring a printed copy of their CV from Unifrog to this careers fair, I might attach the CV tool from Unifrog to make it as easy as possible for students to download their CVs to bring with them. Alternatively, if you've got something else that you'd like to attach, such as a feedback form, a worksheet, or some slides, you can attach those here too. Finally, you can tick this option here to ask students to send you some feedback about this interaction. So you can ask them what they most enjoyed, what did they think, have their aspirations changed, etc. So once you've filled out the form as you need to, click add, and that interaction will then be logged for that group of students. The students will receive an email within 24 hours to say that interaction has been logged for them. If the interaction is coming up in the future, then they will see a reminder at the very top of their student profiles about this interaction. And if the interaction has happened already, it will be stored in the interactions tool on their profiles for them to refer back to. Should you wish to edit this interaction, so for example, if you made a mistake and you need to change something, or if you want to add another attachment, you can do so by clicking edit or add attachment here. So you should add interactions, as I've demonstrated, on a rolling basis as you deliver your careers programme. And then when you're ready to transfer that interactions information into Compass Plus, from your teacher account homepage, you need to click Advanced. You'll need to make sure that you have selected the students you want to download the interactions data for. Make sure that any filters you've got applied, you want to be applied, and remove any which you don't wish to be applied. So for example, if I wanted the entire interactions data for all of Year 9, I've made sure that I've just got Year 9 selected and no filters applied. You'll then need to click Download in the bottom right-hand corner. And from this page, you'll need to select the CSV summary for CEC Compass Plus. Click this and it will download a CSV file to your computer, which you will need to bulk upload into Compass Plus, which you'll be shown how to do in the next portion of this video.
To upload your Unifrog data to Compass Plus, click on Plans, Your Plans on the Compass Plus navigation bar. Click on the upload icon, the up arrow, in the Actions column. A dialog box will pop up. Click on Select File and find the CSV file you downloaded from Unifrog. Confirm your file selection and you'll see a message confirming that your data upload has been successful. You will then see the activities logged in Unifrog appear on the Activities tab of a pupil's individual Compass Plus profile.
Great. So that's a quick run through of creating interactions in Unifrog that Charlie's taken us through, the download, and then Struan's just walked us through the upload into Compass Plus. And if you do encounter any system generated queries when you do upload into Compass Plus, there are some simple steps to follow. The system prompts you to check certain things if there are any discrepancies or anomalies that potentially may occur. So there is guidance there. I would also say we do have knowledge-based articles to cover all of this. Charlie, you've got some coverage of this as well from your end as well, in that sense as well, haven't you? Yeah. So there are guides that will help you take you through that. Obviously, this is this video will stay as part of the this webinar recording we'll share. And we are also looking to see, depending what some of you may want as support materials beyond this webinar, to see how we can produce more other helpful resources as well that will just help give more clarity if it's needed on how to do the download and upload, and to do any troubleshooting if that's needed as well. So if we go to the next slide, please, go through to more support, that would be great. Charlie, did you want to kick off with support from the Unifrog side, if that's okay? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's various places you can find support for the Unifrog end of things. So our partner success team, they are info at, some of you may know them as that. So they're a team of very helpful, very patient people who man the phones and that info at inbox Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So please do get in touch with them initially if you've got any sort of basic functionality questions about adding interactions or any aspect of using the platform for that matter. Or especially if you've got any kind of admin related queries, then they are the best people to approach. They are the admin gurus. You can also speak to your area or your account manager. So you should know who they are, but if you don't, please do just drop the partner success team an email and they will point you in the right direction. Your account manager can also have sort of a strategic meeting with yourself if you would like to do some training via video call. We also offer staff training as well to your colleagues. So if you feel like that would be helpful, please do get in touch with them. And if you prefer to kind of learn by doing it yourself, then there is loads of helpful guides in the help section at the top of your Unifrog teacher account. So do have a look there if you'd rather learn by teaching yourself.
Great, thanks, Charlie. And then from the Compass Plus side of things, the best place to start typically is our knowledge base. So actually, if you're in Compass Plus, you can actually click a support button that's at the bottom right-hand corner of every screen view you're ever on in Compass Plus, and you get basically a keyword search functionality pop-up. It allows you to search for any query you may have. So particularly if it's in relation to the sort of issues around perhaps downloading and uploading data and so forth, you can put any keyword in that triggers some of the things you're looking to support, and then you'll get a series of articles presented that are linked to the relevancy of that. Those articles pop out in a new tab, and most of them now have short video at the top to explain, 1 to 2 minute videos that explain a step-by-step approach to the task you're trying to complete. And also screen captures and annotations step by step as well. So that's a great place to start if you're in product. If you're not in Compass Plus, you can go to the link that's there for our knowledge base powered by Zendesk. That allows you to, as I say, get to that sort of article-based set of resources, and there's plenty of those to cover every aspect of Compass Plus. Alternatively, you may want to talk to your enterprise coordinator or your hub lead if you're in a hub, or some other schools in your network, in your local networks, whether they're CEC networks or other networks, to talk to others who use sort of Compass Plus, and in this instance Compass Plus and Unifrog. So you can always talk to lots of people now. The dispersion of Compass Plus use is very widespread across the country. And if you struggle to find a solution, or you've got a bit more technical query you're not sure how to resolve, please do come back to our help desk, and you can email our help desk colleagues at compassplus@careersenterprise.co.uk, and they'll come straight back to you to log a ticket for the case and then start to work that through with you if you've got other queries that relate to things. So nice simple ways to get help and advice both from Unifrog and from us as to how to support yourselves through different questions and queries you may have, obviously in relation to using both products together and products individually, of course.